Hi, this is Tim from fititmidlife.com. Today, I've got the brand new Nike Savaleos, the newest weightlifting shoe from Nike. How does this compare to the Romaleos 4? That's what we're going to talk about. Also fit, sizing, feel, and first workout, so stick around. All right, here they are, the Nike Savaleos weightlifting shoes. Let's take a look around. They're Olympic lifters. A lot of heel-to-toe drop. And pretty minimal cushioning, pretty tight fit. These shoes always tend to be very pointy. Nike makes them that way. You can see the point there. And, they're pretty loud, but we'll compare them to the Romaleos 4 here shortly and see that they're actually quieter than the Romaleos 4. You can see the heel. You can see the special knife edge on the heel there for handstand push-ups. And you can see that nice wide diamond-shaped heel, wide forefoot, flat rubber outsole, great grip, great traction. They're lifters and they work pretty good. We're going to tell you all about them, so stick around. All right, so here they are side by side. This is a Romaleos 4, came out last year. Nike's hardcore weightlifting shoe. Quite expensive, and they're noisy. You can hear the noise difference. I think it's this kind of knife edge heel with the TPU, but they're the noisiest shoes ever. They've got more drop than the Savaleos, so that's apparent just wearing them here. And they're less cushioned. They're much more solid, the Romaleos 4, which is not to say the Savaleos are highly cushioned. They're not, they're lifters. But they have just a tiny bit of cushioning in the insole. It's kind of nice. Savaleos is also much lighter, as we'll see here shortly. So that's the two side by side. All right, here's the new Nike Savaleos, their newest weightlifting shoe. So let's take a look. We're going to compare this directly to the Romaleos 4, of course, because that's the best way to understand a shoe. What is different than what's been available in the past? So let's start just taking the usual tour. It's a lifter, no doubt about it. Lots of heel drop. This has, I've got conflicting information on the amount of drop. I've heard 13 millimeters or 15 millimeters. So I suspect it may be 15 millimeters of heel to toe drop in the men's and 13 in the women's. But good luck finding a published number on that. It is definitely less drop than the Romaleos 4, though, which is 19 millimeters of heel-to-toe drop. So you've got the super firm heel. You've got the flat, very grippy outsole. You can see that they have utilized kind of the diamond shape on this to add some extra width around the heel, which is great for stability, very effective. Works very well. You'll notice too, while we're looking here at the heel, look at that crazy knife edge on this. So this is like a TPU, and it's translucent because you can see the strap detail through there. That looks really slick, really nice. And that is for handstand push-ups, so to prevent friction against the wall. And that is one of the features of this shoe. Nike says this is a shoe maybe better suited for your well-rounded CrossFit style workout where you're doing handstand push-ups, you're lifting weights and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk more about that. This piece comes up around the strap there, very firm, looks very nice. You'll notice too on the bottom, nice big swoosh. And they've got these extra kind of portions to give the forefoot a little more width, a little more stability there. So that's very nice as well. Again, very flat, good grip, good traction, and very stiff shoe. There's not a lot of forefoot flexibility in this thing. Some people like a flexible forefoot so they can kind of dig in with their toes. You won't be doing that on this shoe for the most part. Got a toe guard up front. And we can see around the side here, there's more that portion of the forefoot that helps give stability. There's a swoosh, not too ostentatious, but still pretty obvious, right? Some people like that, some people don't. I'm good with it. The upper is a solid material for the most part. It's perforated a little bit, but this is not a super breathable shoe. So I'll give you a close up here. It's just solid, and it feels all right. It looks okay. I don't think it's as sophisticated as what's on the Romaleos 4 in my personal opinion. But this shoe is also cheaper than the Romaleos 4 by quite a bit. This is $120. Single strap, hook and loop here, aka Velcro. That's how you connect this down. And you can see you've got that nice little roller piece so you can really strap these things down. Works well, looks good. You've got the laces. Not a whole lot to say about the laces. They're round and good ability to tighten, no complaints. They're robust. They're pretty strong laces. They don't feel like they'll snap or break or anything like that, right? Because when you're pulling on laces to really tighten down a lifter, sometimes you get carried away and a weaker lace might break. You can see they've got like a pull tab on the tongue. The tongue is moderately cushioned. Not a ton of cushion, but not a microscopic amount of cushion either. The Achilles pad comes up quite high. You can see that there. And it fits well, fits me well, at least in the heel. These are, as you can see, these just like the Romaleos, a very pointy toe. And so we'll talk more about sizing, but I had to go half size up to get a size that fits. The heel cup, as you would expect, super rigid, super firm. That's very firm all through there. And you get great stability side to side from that wider piece on the forefoot. Let's see what else. There's an insole. It doesn't really come out though. It's kind of glued down, so I'm not going to pull it out, but it is slightly cushioned. So it's a very solid midsole, except for this insole on top of it that's got a little bit of cushion. As such, they are more cushioned than the Romaleos 4, but at the same time, this is definitely a hardcore lifter, Olympic lifting shoe, and it does not have a ton of cushion. Here's the size 11s that I bought. So as I mentioned in the other clip, 11, it's just too cramped in the toes for me. My regular shoe size, which is 11, is just not going to work. But I figured while I've got this here, I'll give you a quick look at it. This one's going back. I only put it on long enough to determine I did not like the fit, but I will give you a close-up look here. So there's that knife edge on the heel, and nice subtle colorway, mostly black, fly under the radar. Doesn't look ostentatious. Big giant swoosh. You can see the flat rubber outsole there. So overall, good looking colorway. And, it's going back because it just doesn't work fit size for me. Here's a sound test. The Nike Romaleos 4 on the left, the Nike Savaleos on the right. The Romaleos is noisier. It's a noisy shoe. You can almost hear the drop too. It's got more drop and it makes a difference in your gait when you're walking. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, at least for me. Let's compare them side by side with the Romaleos 4. So these are the Romaleos 4, came out last year. Love these, great lifter. This is my favorite lifter. But there's definitely some downsides to this shoe. Some people don't like the big giant swoosh. It is huge. And this colorway in particular makes it stand out quite a bit. You'll notice it's got a very tall heel raise, 19 millimeters of heel to toe drop. And that's what you want in a lifter, right? You want that heel raise to be able to make it easier for you to get down deep in a squatting type motion. Nice translucent heel, looks sharp, looks good. This stuff is weird though, this material. It's very stiff. It makes a lot of noise. This is the noisiest shoe I have ever tested, hands down, the Romaleos 4. And I believe it's largely because of that thin heel and just the nature of the material itself. You can see it's a very hard plastic. It is different material than what's in the heel of the Savaleos. And it's noisy. There's not much between the floor and that hard material, just a thin coat of rubber. Very grippy, very good. And you can see it's got the diamond shape. So overall, pretty good. This shoe, 22 ounces, men's size 11. It's pretty comfortable, thick. Material in the upper looks good. Two straps. I'll be honest, I like the two straps. Why? Because it feels like it's getting tight here and up here. I definitely prefer the two straps over the one strap that many other shoes have. Good laces, good fit overall. This shoe, just like other shoes in the Metcon line, I go half size up because it's got a very pointy toe and it just doesn't have enough width in the toe box for me when I'm wearing the shoe. So that's the Romaleos 4. So what are the key differences here then? So first of all, this Romaleos 4, $199, unless you find them on sale, very expensive. This much more affordable at $120. What are the differences beyond that? Well, material-wise, you can see there's definitely a difference in the upper. The Romaleos 4 has a cloth upper, looks quite nice, pretty sophisticated. This looks and feels cheaper. It feels a little bit rubbery. This is not going to be breathable at all, but that's not really something you care that much about in a lifter. Single wide strap, kind of up high. That's okay. But I prefer being able to dial in the tightness in two different locations with the dual strap on the Romaleos 4 personally. You'll see a lot of similarities just looking at the heel. Both have the Achilles pad comes up high. They fit very similar. And as I've mentioned already a couple times, I go half size up on both. So 11 and a half is the size that works for me. You'll notice, again, in the Savaleos, there's a insole. In the Romaleos 4, there's an insole as well. But this thing is super solid. This thing is like standing on concrete, standing on wood, standing on brick, standing on iron. This has more cushion. That insole's got it seriously has some cushion. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a lifter. You're absolutely not going to go run in these. You're not going to, I wouldn't even do box jumps and stuff like that in these. I guess you probably could, but I don't think it's ideal, but these definitely have more cushion. And so you could possibly do that, I think. Other things, we see the knife edge on the heel of the Savaleos, which is absent on the Romaleos. You can see both have the wide heel. Here's the other thing. This is much lighter. The Savaleos is 17 ounces. So 17 ounces versus 22 ounces. This is much quieter. I'll put a clip in where I walk with both shoes on. This is a quieter, less noisy shoe. It also has less drop. So between 13 and 15 millimeters of heel to toe drop. So all in all, this is how these sum up, right? This is cheaper, lighter, more cushioned, less drop. Really, it feels to me it's a less radical version of the Romaleos 4. That's how I would put it, right? This is more expensive, heavier, more solid, significantly more drop at 19 millimeters. Quite frankly, these feel pretty awkward to move around in, right? Because of the weight, because of the drop, because of the noise. This is just overall a more mainstream, less extreme version of a weightlifting shoe. That's how I feel they pair up. All right, so that was some workout footage there, some cleans, front squats, and deadlifts. How did the Savaleos do? Pretty good. I mean, it is less drop, but, if it is 15 millimeters and it feels to be about that much, that's still a very healthy amount of drop. Very solid heel. Yes, there's more cushion in the insole, but it didn't really make a difference for that kind of weightlifting. Romaleos 4 did great as well, of course, right? Because it's a hardcore weightlifting shoe. But I did like the way this worked out. And, I got to be honest, I like that it's lighter. I like that it does have a tiny bit of cushion. I like that it is not as noisy. And it just feels like it's a little more practical, little less extreme version of an Olympic weightlifting shoe. I do think this would be a good kind of fit for if you're doing CrossFit style workouts and things like that. Now, if you're hardcore weightlifting, you probably want to stick with the Romaleos. More drop, 19 millimeters. Heavier, clunkier, noisier, but I do like the dual straps. I do think that makes for a better, more customizable fit. But otherwise, it's a pretty close race. Now, I'll be honest, those aren't heavy weights either, right? So hard to really tell if there was going to be any kind of a major difference there. I will say 19 millimeters of drop, great for squatting, not so great for walking around in, whereas these just kind of work better overall in those terms. I also like the fact these are 17 ounces versus 22 ounces. Both are US men's size 11 and a half. All right, so that's our review of the Nike Savaleos, the new Olympic weightlifting shoe from Nike. This is a pretty good shoe. It is like a less extreme version of the Nike Romaleos 4. It is lighter, it has less drop, it is cheaper, and it's got more cushion. Overall, this probably is a better fit for many people doing CrossFit style workouts where you're having to lift heavy, but you still want to be able to do a few other things. Just remember, it's an Olympic lifter. I wouldn't recommend this for running and excessive amounts of impact activities and jumping rope and stuff like that. But for many other things, it's going to be fine. Good job, Nike. Check back in a few weeks. We'll have any long-term updates on the shoe. If you like this kind of thing, please please subscribe. We post new shoe reviews regularly. Thank you. Have a good day.